Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Kalika and you're probably going to be a little confused by the human race after watching this video. Lady smashes glass door because I won't let her inside a business I don't work at. My best friend and roommate works for a small independent print shop as a graphic designer. We live in the burbs and the shop is located downtown about half an hour from our house. Oftentimes, I will be downtown for an appointment of some kind and will ride home with her rather than take the train. Usually by 4 PM, the only people left in the shop are her and a specific co-worker, so I'll just hang out in the front area of the shop with my laptop. At 5 PM they lock the door, and then both of them gather the things up in the next 15 or 20 minutes before actually leaving. They're often out of sight, packing up in the back. Last Friday was one such day. At around 5:10, a lady came up to the door of the shop. It's a glass door. She saw me sitting there and started tapping on the door. I looked up and mouthed, "The shop is closed." She yelled back, "I have a question." I pointed at my wrist and said loudly, "I'm sorry, the shop closes at 5 and I don't work here." She grabbed the handle of the door and started shaking it as if she could magically make the door open. I then started pounding on the door again. So I set down my laptop and walked over to the door. She screamed, "I only have one question. Can you let me in so I can talk to you?" At this point, screaming was really not necessary as we were only separated by a glass door. I said, "Ma'am, I don't work here, and the door is locked from the inside by a key I don't have. I can't let you in." She screamed, "Why are you being such an a-hole? I know you're close, but it's one question." Then to emphasize her point, she slammed her open palm on the glass door, which absolutely shattered. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it. It's not like it cracked and spiderwebbed out, it just went to shards and fell to the ground. Fortunately, I had stepped back. The lady blinked in shock and then started to speed walk away. Fortunately, we're in a massive metropolitan city and I was able to follow her only a half block before I saw a police officer standing on the street. The officer walked us both back to the shop with the woman ranting about how it wasn't her fault and if I just let her in, blah blah blah. She called for backup and 2 more officers arrived, and by this time my friend and her co-worker had come up front. They took another officer back to look at the security footage, which is digitally captured, and that was pretty much that. Lady got arrested on the spot and I had to give a statement. And I'm told I'll probably have to testify in court on behalf of the shop owner to get a civil penalty added onto criminal charges and help them avoid small claims, which I'll gladly do. I would have loved it if she doubled down instead of speed walking away after shattering the door. Like, there's glass all over the floor and then Karen takes a stand and says, "Excuse me, I have one question." Store manager screwed me for the last time. Cast. Me, store manager is SM, HR lady is HL. So I worked for Target for far too long, and by the time I quit, I'd put up with enormous amounts of BS from customers and the upper staff. My work schedule was chaotic, and after repeated complaints to HR and the store manager, I started getting nights. Unfortunately, when you're closing and you're working the back room, no one tells you any updates happening in the store. I don't like dealing with customers too often, so I chose to work in the stockroom or receiving to lessen that chance. So when suddenly I was scheduled to work on the sales floor and work CS desk, I was confused and really annoyed. I spoke to my department manager and store manager, only to find out that my job was dissolved and no longer a role. So I quit. I gave my 2 weeks notice. HR walked me through it and said they'll cash me out and I'll be done.
Catch me outside, how about that?
As I said before, the scheduling there was awful, so I received my call from HR and went to pick up my final check on Friday. The store schedule had me down to work Friday and Saturday after the cash out call. When I go to pick up my check, the store manager yells at me for not being in uniform for my shift. I told him I'm only there for my check. He disregards that and claims, "I was paid for that Friday and Saturday shift, so I'm obligated to work it." Me, being a fool, apologizes and puts on a vest, then works that Friday shift. At the end of the night, store manager writes me up and wants me in tomorrow on time. So now it's Saturday. I show up in uniform and HR lady looks confused and asks me why I'm there. I tell her what happened the night before. She says, "No, we already wrote the check, you just had to pick it up. Store manager can't write up someone who isn't working here anymore." So HR lady takes me to the customer service desk to give me cash for that last shift, and store manager is there. He begins by listing off all the things he wants me to do. I reply, "No, don't work here, wasn't supposed to work last night either." This is confirmed by the HR lady. So his response is, "Well, you're already here and in uniform, and the online orders are really backed up, so do me a favour." I said, "Sure thing," took my cash from the HR lady, and walked out. Wow, that store manager is a real piece of crap. His response to "I don't work here anymore" is, But you're already in uniform and we're busy, so how about you volunteer for a shift? I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around how someone can even say that. Servers should serve customers anywhere, anytime. Lady what? Just something that my friend brought up that I remembered, on mobile, so mobile warning. I worked at a seafood restaurant, so I wore a uniform that consisted of a lime green shirt and black pants that day. After I was done with my shift, I picked up my friend and we decided to go to a local Italian fast food place to get some takeout. She was allergic to seafood, rip. Otherwise, we would have gotten something from my workplace with an employee discount. After ordering, my friend and I sit at a nearby table and pull out our phones to trade Pokemon on Pokemon Go. Yeah, we play that game, sue us. I hear a woman yelling, "Hey!" I didn't think it was towards me, so I just paid no attention to it. It only got louder until the sound was right next to my ear. My friend and I finally looked up to see this fuming lady whose head literally looked like it's about to explode. About effing time you pay attention. Why are you playing on your shift? I've been standing here for 5 minutes waiting to be served. The Italian place's uniform was similar to the seafood place, so I thought maybe the lady got me mixed up with the servers here. Oh, sorry, I know we have similar uniforms, but as you can see, pointing at the seafood restaurant logo on my shirt, I don't work here. Also, this isn't a fancy restaurant. If you want to get served, you have to come up to the ordering desk. The lady just stares at me for a minute with this condescending look before saying this bombshell. Well, you're a server, right? I nod. Well then, a server is a server. Go serve me now. My friend and I just stare at her back with this bewildered look while we try and process what she has said, not moving at all while she got redder and redder. Our guardian angel, one of the servers from the Italian place, just scooches between her and our table and gives us our takeout. He gives us this wow look and says, "Have a food rest of your day." I really hope that isn't a typo. Before turning to the lady and directing her to the ordering table. My friend and I take our takeout and began to book it out of there. We hear the lady screaming, "Where the F do you think you're going?" And I yelled back something along the lines of, "Away from the destroyer of brain cells, that's what." We got into my car and I just drove out there to my friend's place. We had a great laugh afterwards. I told my co-workers at the seafood place the next day and they had a great laugh also. The lady herself actually popped into the seafood restaurant a few days later and approaches the ordering desk when I wasn't looking. I turned around and we both kind of stared at each other for a bit. My manager walked by and asked what's up. I told him it was the Italian restaurant lady. He snorted a little before walking away chuckling. The lady leaves shortly after, without ordering anything. Again, this is like the last story, where I'm just thinking, how could you even think to say something like that? Because they work as a server, they'll just work for free at any restaurant? Because they just love serving people like you? I don't get where these creatures come from. Can I get in to use the bathroom? Me and my girlfriend went to see a show over the weekend at a local place that's basically a beach bar turned venue for the band that was in town. Doors opened at 9 PM and that basically allowed access to the outdoor deck and bar area. The band was playing inside and they weren't allowing anybody in there until about 9:30. Basically, if you wanted to be right up in front of the stage, you needed to be at the front of the line for the second door. So as soon as we got in, we hung out by that door and ended up being the first to do so. Since we were the first in line to get inside the second door, I ended up leaning against the wall next to the door, looking like a bouncer, which I didn't realise at the time. A line, well more of a crowd, to get inside forms at this door after everyone has gotten their drinks from the outdoor bar. I'm facing them, just sort of people watching as I'm leaning against the wall. Naturally, everyone else is facing the door, waiting for it to open so they can go in. Cue mid-20s blonde girl, we'll call her Kelsey. I noticed Kelsey walking towards me after walking around the line and group of people waiting to get in. We exchanged a hello and a bit of small talk. Then she asked, "Can I get in to use the bathroom?" None the wiser, I said, "Door's locked, they're not letting anyone in yet." She gives me this little, "come here," finger wave motion while taking a step towards me, implying she wants to tell me something private or quietly. I lean in, and she says, "I need to change my tampon." So I lean back, restraining a laugh because at this point I realised she thought I was a bouncer. So I give her the finger motion and lean back in and say, "I don't work here." The initial look on her face was priceless, but the shock or embarrassment pretty quickly turned into a decent sense of humour about it. We had a laugh, and I pointed her towards an actual bouncer that would be able to answer a question. Moral of the story? Not really sure, but a good sense of humour goes a long way in turning an awkward situation into a funny one. Okay, so that's all for r/IDontWorkHereLady. I really hope you did enjoy it. As always, if you do want to see more content like this, then please do subscribe. My Twitter, Discord, and Patreon links are in the description, and any support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much for watching.